Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Read from Bhagavad-Gita, 4th chapter, text 24. Pramarpanam Brahmahavir. Pramarpanam Brahmahavir. Brahmagnau Brahmana Utam Brahmaiva Tena Gantavyam Brahmakarma Samadhina Pramarpanam Brahmahavir. Pramarpanam Brahmahavir. Brahmagno Brahmanahutam. Brahmagno Brahmanahutam. Brahmaivatena Gantavyam. Brahmaivatena Gantavyam. Brahmakarma Samadhina. Brahmakarma Samadhina. Brahma, spiritual in nature. Arpanam, contribution. Brahma, the supreme. Avi, butter for sacrifice. Brahma, spiritual. Agnau, in the fire of consummation. Brahmana, by the spirit soul. Utam, offered. Brahma, spiritual kingdom. Eva, certainly. Tena, by him. Gantavyam, to be reached. Brahma, spiritual. Karma, in activities. Samadhina, by complete absorption. Translation purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. A person who is fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness is sure to attain the spiritual kingdom because of his full contribution to spiritual activities, in which the consummation is absolute, and that which is offered is of the same spiritual nature. All understand? Understandable? Hearing? Acha? Purport. How activities in Krishna consciousness can lead one ultimately to a spiritual goal is described here. There are various activities in Krishna consciousness, and all of them will be described in the following verses. But for the present, just the principle of Krishna consciousness is described. A conditioned soul, entangled in material contamination, is sure to act in the material atmosphere, and yet he has to get out of such an environment. The process by which the conditioned soul can get out of the material atmosphere is Krishna consciousness. For example, a patient who is suffering from a disorder of the bowels due to overindulgence in milk products is cured by another milk product, namely curds. The materially absorbed conditioned soul can be cured by Krishna consciousness, as set forth here in the Gita. This process is generally known as yajna, or activities, sacrifices, simply meant for the satisfaction of Vishnu or Krishna. The more the activities of the material world are performed in Krishna consciousness or for Vishnu only, the more the atmosphere becomes spiritualized by complete absorption. The word Brahman means spiritual, The Lord is spiritual, and the rays of his transcendental body are called Brahmajyotir, his spiritual effulgence. Everything that exists is situated in that Brahmajyoti, but when the Jyotir is covered by illusion, Maya, or sense gratification, it is called material. This material, while can be removed at once by Krishna consciousness, thus the offering for the sake of Krishna consciousness, the consuming agent of such an offering or contribution, the process of consumption, the contributor and the result are all combined together, Brahman, or the Absolute Truth. The Absolute Truth covered by Maya is called matter. Matter, dovetailed for the cause of the Absolute Truth, regains its spiritual quality. Krishna consciousness is the process of converting the illusory consciousness into Brahman, or the Supreme. When the mind is fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness, it is said to be in samadhi or trance. Anything done in such transcendental consciousness is called yagya, or sacrifice for the Absolute. In that condition of spiritual consciousness, the contributor, the contribution, the consumption, the performer or leader of the performance, and the result or ultimate gain, everything becomes one in the Absolute, the Supreme Brahman. That is the method of Krishna consciousness. Brahmarpanam Brahma Havir, Brahmagnao Brahmana Hutam, Brahmaivatena Gantavyam, Brahmakarma Samadhina. A person who is fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness is sure to attain the spiritual kingdom because of his full contribution to spiritual activities, in which the consummation is absolute, and that which is offered is of the same spiritual nature. So last Monday I was speaking about the 15th sloka, 15th verse of the Bhagavad-Gita. You can read together. 4:15. All the liberated souls in ancient times acted with this understanding of my transcendental nature. Therefore you should perform your duty following in their footsteps. Even the intelligent are bewildered in determining what is action and what is inaction. Now I shall explain to you what action is, knowing which you shall be liberated from all misfortune. The intricacies of action are very hard to understand, therefore one should know properly what action is, what forbidden action is, and what inaction is. It means karma, vikarma, and akarma. 3 kinds of action. One who sees inaction in action and action in inaction is intelligent among men, and he is in the transcendental position, although engaged in all sorts of activities. One is understood to be in full knowledge, whose every endeavor is devoid of desire for sense gratification. He is said by sages to be a worker for whom the reactions of work have been burned up by the fire of perfect knowledge. Abandoning all attachment to the results of his activities, ever satisfied and independent, he performs no fruitive action, although engaged in all kinds of undertakings. Such a man of understanding acts with mind and intelligence perfectly controlled, gives up all sense of proprietorship over his possessions, and acts only for the bare necessities of life. Thus working, he is not affected by sinful reactions. He who is satisfied with gain which comes up on its own accord, who is free from duality and does not envy, who is steady in both success and failure, is never entangled, although performing actions. The work of a man who is unattached to the modes of material nature and who is fully situated in transcendental knowledge merges entirely into transcendence. And then today's verse. A person who is fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness is sure to attain the spiritual kingdom because of his full contribution to spiritual activities in which the consummation is absolute and that what is offered is of the same spiritual nature. Om Agyati Maranyasya Gavanchana Salakya Chakshuramritam Yena Tasma Shigave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manopistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kathanayam Dati Svaratantikam Vande Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahodita Gaudataya Pushpavanto Chitta Shantatamona Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Banda Jagapate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So this chapter 4 spoken by Krishna in Bhagavad-Gita to Arjuna is entitled as Transcendental Knowledge. Jnana Yoga. Every chapter has a title. So this title is Jnana Yoga. Third chapter is Karma Yoga. This fourth chapter, Jnana Yoga. So the topic is about action or inaction. Actually, originally, Arjuna, he didn't want to participate in action, and this, according to his nature, as a kshatriya, to fight. So he started to lament, and withdraw from his duty, and he hung down his head and he told to Govinda, Krishna, I will not fight. Sorry. I boycott. So actually that's the situation, that's the point where Krishna started up to speak Bhagavad-Gita, to bring Arjuna out of his bodily concept, because he brought many arguments based on his mind, feeling, Shastra also, different scriptures and traditions. So, but Krishna said, I cannot accept that. No sage, no realized sage will accept your points, because they're all born from your mind. You're lamenting for something what is not lamentable. So you're weak now. You lost your composer. Krishna, out of his mercy, wanted to bring Arjuna out of his bodily platform, to bring him to the transcendental understanding that ultimately we are not the doers, we are not the body, we are only dwellers in the body, the spirit soul, who stays for certain years in one particular body. And then in this time where we can live in this body, we have to use the body like a machine. It's described in the 15th chapter of the Bhagavad-Gita that the body is like a machine, yantra rudhai mayaya. But within this body there is the soul, and with the soul is the super soul, the Supreme Lord, who is a witness. And he knows everything. He knows the past, the present, and the future, and he is witness. So So he's always in the Lord is always in transcendental position, and the living entity is forgetful of his nature, of his Swarup, Chit Shakti Swarup. The Lord's nature is Chit Shakti, spiritual nature. Soul's nature is also Chit Shakti. It's not Achit. Maya is Achit. It's ignorance. It's darkness. Chit means light. It's spiritual, like spiritual platform. Therefore, the soul is also known as Brahman. The Lord is Brahman. He's Para-Brahman. The living entity is Brahman, spiritual. Brahman means spiritual ultimately. So the Lord is like the fire, and the living entity is like the spark of the fire. So it has the same substance, the same quality, but the quantity is different. The Lord is original fire, is unlimitedly big, unending, ananta, and the spark is very limited, but not less in quality. It's not less in quality than the whole fire. It's fire. So whatever comes in contact with that spark of fire becomes fire. Becomes fired up. But if this spark is falls in water, then it becomes extinguished. If the spark falls on some sand, it is bright. It can keep its nature as fire, but then also becomes extinguished. And then the fire comes in contact or in touch with some burning material, some grass, what is dry, or paper, immediately catches and becomes bright, becomes effulgent. So the soul in ignorance is completely covered, almost not conscious about, practically not conscious about his eternal nature, only is on the bodily platform, and he sees only material activities as the goal in life, sense gratification, sense enjoyment. And for that he's struggling and endeavoring and working very hard to get money to enjoy. So it's a lot of suffering, a lot of struggling, and in the end one has to give up everything, and we cannot take everything with us to the next destination. So Krishna wants to show us to come to the platform, come out of this darkness of ignorance and come to the platform of knowledge, action in knowledge. Arjuna first, in the beginning of the 4th chapter, he asked Krishna, from where you actually know all this knowledge, and how you could teach this knowledge to Vivasvan, the sun god. Because as far as I know, you're the same age like me, like Arjuna. They're the same age, friends, contemporaries. So how we can say you instructed previously the sun god, Vivasvan, in these transcendental science, because it went lost. So then Krishna says, yes, my dear friend, many lives, births and lives we went through. You forgot. You and me, and everyone goes through many lives, but you forget, because you're Jiva Atma, become conditioned by the material nature, by forgetfulness. But I, the Supreme Soul, I don't forget. So I'm aware about all the times, about the past, about the present, and then about the future. So for me, there is no covering. I'm omniscient. I know everything. I'm aware about everything. And Krishna, out of his mercy, he wanted to teach Arjuna, and through Arjuna us, how to accept through from Krishna through disciplic succession, this transcendental, the process of transcendental knowledge. Because knowledge is very important. It's not only action important, because a child who is not trained, is very active. He has so much energy. The day is almost not ending, but he can make so much nonsense. Therefore, the parents always have, and teachers always have to keep an eye on the children, to keep them under control, that they will not do nonsense, that they don't destroy something or harm themselves or others. So, therefore, training is needed, education is needed. There's material education, we give so much money, we spend so much time in learning from very beginning of childhood, almost 15 years, 10, 15 years we study and learn something that we can make somehow other alive, to get a family together and a career, and hopefully will reach the age of pension so that I can retire and can absorb myself in all my hobbies and of what I like, not just work for money. So this in general the activities of the materialist. The materialist works for quite substantial years, 40, 50 years. They even want to increase the working time, not only to 60 or 65, even to up to 67 or 70, because they think man becomes more fit, they become older nowadays, and therefore they can also work longer. So in this way, people are engaged in all kinds of fruitive activities for their own sense gratification, only thinking in terms of I am mine, and my family, my body, and how I maintain them. But Lord Krishna says this is Palma Ichadi, Saiva Bokara, Satma Buddhi Kunapetru Daduke, Yadi Kalatra Adishu Palma Ichadi, Yadirta Buddhi Salilena Karichich, Janeshu, Abigeshu, Saiva Bokara. Krishna says, he actually instructs his family members, the Yadus in Kurukshetra, in the solar eclipse. Solar eclipse, one goes to a holy place, to a tirtha, to take a bath in a holy lake, pond, has an association with brahmanas who chant auspicious hymns, and one gives them charity after the eclipse is over and the yagya is over. One performs yagya, or sacrifices, for the pleasure of the demigods and the controlling deities of the universe, and for the pleasure of Lord Vishnu, because they're in charge for the proper constellation of universal stars, sun, moon, like that, Mars, Venus, Jupiter, and whatever, Saturn, so they're Ketu. So to keep them in balance, that they're favorable for human beings and for our society, yagya is performed to pacify them, and to offer them some oblations for our well-being, to be in harmony with the universe. So this science was previously known, to see a harmony in the whole universe, and see that everything is actually connected. They are all related with the universe. They are not separated from the universe. Although we live in this planet, and we cannot go. Although we try to go to other planets, we cannot. Even if you go, in case you have been there, you have to come back. You cannot remain there, because it's other atmosphere. It's not made for our body, with our kind of constitution of bodily elements. Therefore, in all the universe, there are certain planets, and they have living beings there. They have controlling deities there. Surya is in charge for the sun. Soma is in charge for the moon. Indra is in charge of Amaravati from heavenly planets, like that. Yamaraj is in charge somewhere for the deads. Pitriloka, like that. So there's so many different gods or devas. And when there is a certain days or a certain time, one has to pacify them, to please them, offering some oblations to them and some prayers. But this is material, it's fruitive. Karma Kandya. It's Karma Kandya. Lord Krishna's family, because they were acting as kings, they were also wanted to counteract externally this bad influence of solar or lunar eclipse. And so therefore they go to a holy place and they perform yajna and sacrifices. But Lord Krishna, he says, just to visiting a holy place, to take a bath in the holy place, in a river or a pond or a lake, has saintly purifying water in it, do some yajna, some prayers there, some sandhya, morning, noon and evening duties and prayers. It's a must for all the teachers in the Vedic followers. They have to do sandhya 3 times a day. Like Muslims, they do namas 5 times a day, offering prayers 5 times. Namas. Christians, they pray in the morning, they go to the church 1 time in the day, or maybe 2 times in the evening if they're very pious. And those who are less pious only go on Sunday. And those who are lesser pious only go on Christmas time. But in the Vedic followers, especially the Dvichas, that means Brahmanas, Kshatriyas and Vaishyas, they do the Sandhya. That means they do these morning rites, taking bath, chanting Gayatri mantra, Om Bhur Bhuva Svaha, like that. Absorbing in meditation. They do some sacrifice, some homa, some Agnihotra in the morning, in the evening. So that's the strict followers are doing. It's material, it's not transcendental. But it's all for the betterment or well-being of our material prosperity. It is done. But Krishna says we are not this body, my dear sons and family members. Because those who consider this body and place a pilgrimage place just to take a bath, and the body with the material elements to be myself, and the birthplace where I'm born is worshipable, and Palma Ichadi. Palma Ichadi also means the tradition of my country is worshipable. It's the best. It's the only good process. All others are not real followers. They have not culture. They're uncultured. Everyone thinks like that. They are the best culture. But Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says one should not consider my culture as the best and that another culture is bad. My religion or my belief is based on other beliefs, and the religion is not so good. You have to see the good in everything. That means we have maybe something good in our culture, but we have maybe also something bad in our culture, in our tradition. and somebody else has maybe something good in their tradition, so we can accept something good from another tradition if it is helpful for our progress in spiritual life. We can accept. It's foolish to reject if something is good. Like 11th canto, Krishna says, one has to be like a honeybee, to always see the best of everything in all the different cultures and all the different scriptures, and accept the essence that is needed. Don't hang up with the details. So many devotees are people hanging up on details, and so many side effects of Vedic culture or any culture, but they don't accept and want to understand the essence. You know, this essence, Bhakti-yoga Thakur says, it's prema. It is Krishna prema. It is love, rati, bhakti to Krishna. This is essence. And this essence one can find in different traditions and different cultures. But according to the modes of nature, there may be different traditions, different practices, different paraphernalia, different habits, rules and regulations. It's according to time, place, and circumstances. This is material religion. But Bhakti-yoga Thakur says transcendental religion, Sanatana Dharma, Krishna Prema Dharma, Bhakti based on rati to Krishna, with affection and attachment to Krishna, is not dependent on time, place, and circumstances. This is Krishna telling to Brahma in the on the fourth verse of the Chatusloki, that at any time, place, and circumstances, a human being has to ask questions and be curious and to find out about the absolute truth. That's all. That's all what we have to do, to find out what is the absolute truth. And for that, we need a spiritual master, we need the scriptures, the revealed scriptures. They give us information, the spiritual masters and the acharyas and the different saints of the different traditions. They give us guidance how to apply this knowledge and time according to our time, place, and circumstances. So this way, nobody is sectarian. Krishna doesn't like sectarianism, because Krishna himself doesn't belong to a sect. He doesn't belong to a particular cult. Krishna is not a Hindu. Krishna is not a Christian. Krishna doesn't belong to any religion, because Krishna is transcendental. The religions what we know nowadays, they're more or less materialistic. They're not transcendental. Therefore, to find out the transcendental purpose of the religion, the goal of the religion, it means to love Krishna, to have attachment to God, to develop attachment and devotion to that God with love and devotion. That is the purpose of all the religions. That's the purpose of religion, of Dharma. Dharma means, that's the occupation, the eternal occupation of the soul, to serve God, to love God. This is Sanatana Dharma, it's eternal. There's so many temporary dharmas, they can be given up. But it is also not recommended to give them up whimsically. We can only give up duties and occupations on the material platform if we are fixed in the transcendental platform. Then we can give it up. Don't give it up before. Like a caterpillar. Caterpillar. Now this worm goes from one leaf to another. Only gives up the previous leaf if it took shelter on the other leaf. So we cannot give up something as long as we are not taking shelter in the transcendence. And to reach the transcendental platform, Krishna established Bhagavad-Gita. He reveals the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Bhagavad-Gita, to reveal transcendental knowledge, to teach transcendental knowledge to those who are able to learn, who are eager to learn. Most of the people don't want to learn. They don't want to learn, unfortunately. They're satisfied with whatever the activities and food and money and family members and etc. what they have, they're satisfied with it. They don't ask questions about absolute Brahma Jigyasa. They don't ask questions about Brahman. But this is the first question that Vedanta Sutra, Brahma Sutra says, Atato Brahma Jigyasa. Now it is the time. Now we attain the human form of life. Now we should not ask questions how to eat, where to sleep, how to make family, and how to maintain everything. It's not the question. The Lord is supplying that. He's the supplier. He's the maintainer. We are the servants. We have to become conscious about the Lord. Therefore, Krishna says, now we have to become conscious about Brahma Jigyasa, asking questions about Brahma. What is material? What is spiritual? That's very important. That we come in contact with spiritual nature. Because we are spiritual by nature. The soul, the Atma, the Jivatma belongs to the Chit-Shakti, belongs to the spiritual nature. The material body belongs to the material nature. Therefore, the material body ultimately becomes either worm and stool, if it is not burnt, the worms eating up, insects eating up and transform the body into stool. Or if it is burnt, in the end, it becomes ashes. And if the body is just dying and nobody finds it, it's not buried, the birds, the vultures, the monkeys, they come, the dogs come and they eat him up. So the body doesn't belong to us. Well, the body is finished, The body turns to ashes, to stool, becomes food for other animals. So the body, destiny, we don't have to worry. It is like that. It's only these three ways. But the spirit is not like that. The spirit is not destroyed. Because Krishna says in the second chapter of the Gita, the spirit soul, the Atma, cannot be burned, cannot be cut to pieces, it cannot be swallowed or eaten up, it cannot be drowned, it cannot be moistened, it cannot be burned, because the soul is anti-material. The spiritual, and everyone, we all have the soul in our heart. But the problem is, we are all acting with the soul on material platform. Like a fish. The fish is out of water, It's not in contact with water element. The fish, you can put him in nice sofa, put nice TV, Bollywood show on it, nice singing, dancing, But fish will become nervous, He starts to tremble, but you think, oh, he's in ecstasy, he's dancing here, But no, he wants to go back to the water. Otherwise, soon he will collapse there, and there will be no move anymore. So the fish has to go to the element. Or like a bird. A bird, you put him in a cave. and you polish very nicely the cave, with the time you see, oh, the bird is dying. Why? Because you forgot him to feed. You have to feed the bird. Not only polish the external, make a beautiful dressing and hairstyle and makeup and everything. This is external, but the internal, the bird, we forget. We neglect. So in this way, Krishna wants to teach us yagya. Yagya sustasino shanta ujjante karma kilbishai. If we are not engaging in karma, then we act sinfully. That means that whatever food we take, if it is not offered, it is sin. Therefore, devotees, they only eat food offered from yagya, sacrifices, prasad. No other food. Because this is Brahma, it's spiritualized, it's Krishnized. We're not vegetarian, we're prasadarian. Because we only live from prasada, from Krishna's mercy. So everything we should try to dovetail, to connect with Krishna. And like the prasada, like the food, what is offered to Krishna becomes transformed in spiritual food. All our activities, our mind, our senses, our possessions, our family, everything becomes transformed. This is yoga, this is yagya, this is transcendental activity. So this kind of activity, yagya, is very important in all the ages. Therefore there were different yagyas in different ages. Satya, Treta, Dvapara, according to the qualification of the people, there are different yagyas, sacrifices performed, prescribed in the scriptures and by the sages. In the Satya Yuga, yagya was meditation. That means people were very paramahamsa, not interested in bodily activities. They were only fixed in their mind in brahmacharya and in concentration on the absolute truth, on Brahman. It's the Satya age. In Treta age, yagya, fire sacrifices, various fire sacrifices were performed for thousands of years. And in Dvapara Yuga, deity worship was prescribed as yagya. And in Kali Yuga, Sankirtan yagya is prescribed. So every age has certain yagya, certain sacrifice. Because a person who is not trained in sacrifice, who is not performing sacrifice, his life is not auspicious. His life becomes sinful. Of course, not everyone can maybe perform yagya, but the leaders of the society, the brahmanas, the head, and the kshatriyas, the rulers, they have to be engaged in this sacrifice. Brahmanas are the performer of sacrifice because that's their duty, that's their profession, yagya. Perform executing Vedic sacrifices. The kshatriyas, they have the money, they have to supply land, and like that. The vaishyas, they have to supply the food and the milk, ghee, grains, like that. Flowers, also needed for the sacrifice. Shudras, they cannot participate directly in the sacrifice, but they can witness the sacrifice. So in this way, everyone who is somehow or other included in this sacrifice, the Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and even the Shudras, they all become purified by this yagya. Because they are all engaged ultimately. The Shudras, they are helpers. They cannot directly engage in sacrifice. Not even the Kshatriyas engage directly in sacrifice. And the Vaishyas also not. It's the Brahmanas. But everyone can assist according to their own occupation. And in this way everyone becomes purified, becomes spiritualized. Because the spiritual energy is everywhere, but we cannot perceive it. But if the yajna performers, the brahmanas, the priests, there are 4 kinds of priests in the yajna who are in charge for the yajna, the chanting Vedic prayers, to offering the oblations. One who is observing that the mantras are properly chanted. Other one who is assisting that the fire is nicely burned and not extinguished, that not smoke is only coming like that. So that's a whole system. It's everyone is trained in that way. And there are even the different brahmanas who chant different mantras, from Rig Veda, from Sama Veda, from Yajur Veda. They're trained in this way. And all these engagements, all these different kinds of activities, they become Brahman. It means they become spiritualized. And then decide if the Brahmanas and the leaders of the society participating in yajna, then the whole world becomes prosperous. It will not be too much rain, it will not become too hot, not too less, not too much. I would say the elements will become more pacified. But because now it's Kali Yuga, it's winter time, everything is disturbed. Manda Samanda Matayo, Manda Bhagya, Hipadrita. People have short life, they're lazy, they're unintelligent, or less intelligent, misfortunate, misguided, and so on and so on. Kali Yuga is a difficult age. There's a lot of degradation. Because even the leaders, the brahmanas and the kshatriyas and the vaishyas, they're not really following properly, and that everything starts from the top. Brahmanas are not acting properly. Then the kshatriyas, they lose trust in brahmanas, and then if the kshatriyas become fallen and corrupted, then the vaishyas become corrupted, and in the end everything is down to the shudras and to the dogs and hogs platform. Complete degradation. But still there's a good time to engage in Sankirtan Yajna because of Lord Chaitanya mercy, because of Srila Prabhupada coming. We have this great hope to participate in Sankirtan Yajna, chanting the holy name, observing in reading Srila Prabhupada's books in Shastra, Bhagavad-Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and distributing them. Srila Prabhupada, he wrote a letter to the German devotees in 1977. I want to read to you one section from it. It was very difficult in 76, in Germany in 75, to distribute books and to do Harinam like that. Police always stopped, and Hare Krishna had very bad name. They harassed the devoted media, speak very negative. But Srila Prabhupada, he always wanted to encourage devotees. My beloved disciples, May 6, 77, please accept my blessings. I know that over the past years you have suffered so many tribulations to push forward Krishna consciousness in Germany. But this has not stopped you from your determination to serve the cause of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. A devotee is pleased when there is difficulty, but in these difficulties he is forced to remember Krishna. We cannot expect that the people of Kali Yuga will welcome our attempt to spread Krishna consciousness. It is just like a lunatic asylum, a crazy house. The patients are running around madly And when the doctor tries to give them treatment, they insist that they are not crazy. Sometimes the patient even strikes the doctor. So our task is like that. We cannot stand to see people suffering due to ignorance. What is that ignorance? They do not know that they are not their body. This Krishna consciousness movement is meant to deliver people to the proper understanding that they are not their body, but they are pure spirit soul. They may or may not be appreciated. That is not our concern. We must execute the order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which is Hari Deke Tari Kai Krishna Upadesh Amara Dhyaya Guru Hanatara Edesh. Whomever you meet, instruct them to follow the orders of Sri Krishna as they are given in the Bhagavad-Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. In this way, by my order, become a spiritual master and try to liberate everyone in this land. So our business is to satisfy the acharyas and Krishna. If they are pleased, then we know our work is successful. So go on spreading the Sankirtan movement more and more. I'm only one person, but because all of you have kindly cooperated with me, this movement has now become a success all over the world. Be assured that there is no more direct way to preach than to distribute Krishna conscious books. Whoever gets a book is benefited. If he reads the book, he is benefited still more. Or if he gives the book to someone else for reading, both he and the other person is benefited. Even if one does not read the book, but simply holds it and sees it or looks at it, he is benefited. If he simply gives a small donation towards the work of Krishna consciousness, he is benefited. And anyone who distributes these transcendental literatures is also benefited. Therefore, Sankirtan is the prime benediction for the age, for this age. Krishna Varnam Tisa Krishnam Sangopangastat Arshadam Yagyaya Sankirtan Praya Yajantihi Samedasa. Hoping this meets you all well, your ever well-wisher A.C. Bhakti-yoga Swami. Prabhupada Jai. So Prabhupada very clearly is emphasizing this Sankirtan, that in this Sankirtan everything becomes purified and benefited. The book itself, the person who is distributing, the place, the person who receives it, the money that is given, even those who are not taking the book but only give a donation, they become benefited. Even if they don't read the book, only touching the book, they become benefited. Prabhupada, he was so much pushing this Sankirtan in form of book distribution and in spreading the holy name, despite if people like it or not. The devotees have to be convinced. If the devotees are convinced and are absorbed faithfully in this process of Sankirtan Yagya, because it's in this age the Sankirtan Yagya. Lord Chaitanya is a Sankirtan Purusha, is a enjoyer and the inaugurator of the Sankirtan Yagya. So it is he who requested all his followers to take up this process of Sankirtan and make everyone happy and joyful in taking these fruits of Krishna praying, ultimately Krishna praying, because ultimately Sankirtan is not just singing and chanting and distributing for our pleasure. It is meant for Krishna's pleasure. It's meant for Krishna's pleasure. And if this if this is the goal, if this is the meditation, everything will come out nice. Even if it is not purely done, it still has a result. As we can see in the past. Even if one is not on the transcendental platform, but the instruction is coming down from the transcendental platform, and we try to follow this instruction, although we are imperfect, but the instruction is perfect. The process is perfect. The books are perfect. Hare Krishna Mahamantra is perfect. It's not different from Krishna, all this. And therefore, if we are distributing or participating in this Sankirtan Yagya, consciously or unconsciously, we become benefited, we participate, we are distributing it, or taking it and apply it in our life, and also those who are taking it up, they become all benefited, and we all become connected with the spiritual energy of the Lord. Although this energy is already here, but we are not conscious about it. This energy is not acting upon us directly as spiritual because of our dull consciousness. But the more our consciousness is waking up due to the performance of Sankirtan Yagya and transcendental knowledge, we become more aware about Krishna's presence and Krishna's energy, Krishna's consciousness, and act in this direction. And in this way we can be connected with yoga, with Sankirtan yoga, Krishna consciousness, with the absolute root, even in this dark age of Kali Yuga. That's why the Lord appeared out of His causeless mercy, and He made it very easy, more easy than in other yugas. So it gives us this opportunity. Bhakti-yoga Thakur, I want to read one prayer by Bhakti-yoga Thakur from Sharanagati. What he accepts favorable in devotional service. So there are different items. So he says the task from the pure devotees, from the feet, nourishes pure devotional service. Service to the devotees is the supreme perfection, the root of the vine of a spiritual of the vine. We say the plant of spiritual love. The holy days honoring Lord Krishna are the mother of devotion, like Jamashtami, etc. I carefully observe them. Lord Krishna's abode, I declare, is my home also. With respect and love, there I live. The company of devotees filled with ecstatic love, I will see all the places Lord Chaitanya joyfully visited. My heart always begs to hear the mridanga's music, hearing the kirtan taught by Lord Chaitanya. My heart dances joyfully. Gazing at the forms of the divine couple, I am filled with bliss. Honoring their prasadam, I conquer all the worlds. On the days when I engage in devotional service at home, I see Goloka Vrindavan splendidly manifested in my home. When I see the Ganga, the nectar of the Lord's feet, my joy has no limit. Seeing Tulasi, my feverish life feels pleasantly cool. I know Tulasi pleases Lord Krishna. Honoring shak, that means shak, vegetable which pleases Lord Chaitanya, I feel my life has finally become a success. Every day, Bhakti very happily accepts whatever is favorable for devotional service to Lord Krishna. And then this devotee association, Bhakti Thakur also has a prayer from Vachana chapter 4. It says, offering gifts in charity, accepting charitable gifts, revealing one's mind in confidence, inquiring confidentially, accepting prasadam and offering prasadam are the 6 symptoms of love, priti, shared by one devotee and another. They are like the life of devotional service. Unaware of the truth, deliberately or accidentally, I practice those 6 activities with non-devotees. I lost all devotion. I became a materialist. O Lord Krishna, you stayed far away. When I practice these activities of loving association with Lord Krishna's devotees, then the glorious goddess of devotional service will take her seat in my heart. When rejecting the association of persons who are not devotees of Lord Krishna and who relish the company of women, will I stay among your devotees at every moment, O Lord Krishna. So in this way we can learn from these songs how to become eager for the service of Krishna and the devotees and to engage in these various devotional activities who are all favorable for developing priti or love, ultimately love to Krishna. And it's based on the Gyan. We first have to, therefore it's very important to cultivate this Gyan in relation with Bhakti. Gyan, knowledge, if it is not related with Bhakti, it is useless. But if Gyan or knowledge, therefore this chapter is called Transcendental Knowledge, Raja Vidya. If this is if this is engaged if knowledge is engaged in the cultivation of bhakti-yoga, then everything becomes spiritualized, and karma and all the inauspicious elements that will fall away. Therefore, bhakti-yoga process is auspicious, and it diminishes kleshas or miseries, and ultimately bestows us the rare gift of love to Krishna, but is very rarely attained. So I'm stopping here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.